Good thing.
Yeah, I don't know if the other dogs realize that what happens on it. All right, I'm gonna just tell them downstairs.
There could be another person coming, you know.
All right.
Get away from me, Oliver.
And he's gone.
It's all right, you stay.
I gotta go to Kleenex. I go, so you're over there. But get a couple of them. No, you stay with me.
Mark, come here.
Thank you. Yeah, good, I know. That's good. Yeah, both of them. Oh, there he is. That's very good.
Peter's making an awful lot of noise for not supposed to, it's not supposed to be on. I like that they will kick on a high blast and then we're all gonna be sweating.
That is all clean as well. Good stuff from Jonathan, good stuff from Elmo.
Raining in the background. Just a little bit.
Clear so far.
Anyone needs to show
A little bit. Up and down. Side, 42.7.
Come here.
No penalties as well.
Considering the dog was reluctant to start, he did really well. He goes through the winning poles, and you see a lovely blind turn there executed there.
Next we look at Lucinda Rose from Chapel 9 years of age. Arnie, 7-year-old Terrier Cross. Up and running from family. He's got slightly sway through that collapse. Their own face here, good communication between Amber and dog hops through hard tunnel.
Ready for your close up.
You know, not as interested.
This is entirely not spectacularly quick. But down there on the dog walk, still no penalties. Faultless so far. Oh, there is one. They picked up 5 penalties. Just missed the bottom of that dog walk. That's tough. Just a matter of inches on that.
See, there you go. Now, can you see somebody else just saying, get in the bathtub?
I mean, I taught my dog, I think it's a certain type of person,
Yeah, it is, but not everybody.
not everybody.
No. And my guess is the first time she said it to him, he just looked at her and then he figured out, okay, I gotta get in there.
I've got my 3 now, including the bulldog. They all have to, my living room and kitchen are kind of open to one another. So I've got all 3 of them laying downstairs on individual beds, and they have to wait in there while I prepare the food, set the food up, and then I come in there and I call them one by one
Well, yes.
until they go to eat.
I would think so. And it really
It's kinda
all
fun.
starts with the spoon feeding.
Oh, my bulldog.
Well, you've had trouble with your bulldog too, right?
Yeah, we brought the collar back out this week.
When you
A
left.
vibrating collar.
Oh,
We don't even have, I mean, it does do a lot there, but
yeah.
you don't have to, usually I don't have to get it.
It's a nice dog. You guys must be doing something right.
We try.
You nut. You nut.
My prop.
Go over there.
I'm gonna
Go
post
watch your TV.
2 minutes, I'm gonna post another link to, Equine Rescue Network. And social. Okay.
Are we allowed to ask about the donkey?
Yes. The donkeys, which donkeys, the donkeys that are coming.
I heard you were doing it.
What?
The pregnant one.
Oh, the pregnant, yeah,
He was supposed to come at 11 o'clock today.
Yeah,
I don't know, did you come?
I heard, well, I wasn't
He was
here.
supposed to come at 11.
I thought I heard that, that's why I was
I
asking.
can see it.
You didn't see him?
No.
He was supposed to come and draw blood.
That's what I heard.
And I said to her, the gal in the office, I said, you know, he's self-sufficient. Oh, yes. So I said, fine. And I pay attention to it.
Yeah, I never gave it a thought. But I saw it in the sale.
But we're getting 2 more?
3.
3, okay.
She would say that when I had a mouthful of coffee.
Are they miniature?
Just so you know, yes, 2 miniature donkeys. One that already has a home, and a miniature horse.
Danny.
Hello.
Hey everybody. Hi Carlene. Very nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
My name is Christine. Thank you for your support.
CPs, there you go.
Hi, David. This is Clark.
This is Ava.
My group bug, Maud, and she has results inside today, so next time.
Are you from Boston, or how come you're here? Explain yourself.
I am from Boston. I work over in Cambridge over in LA Diesel.
Oh.
It's a different rush hour. Crazy red line.
Yeah, the mail call will be here today.
Start.
That's Ava.
Okay, Linus.
The funny thing is watching him watch the TV. It's just,
My dog's here.
she puts on agility. Really well.
My husband says he's going to be a champ. Oh, look at this now. I'm so excited.
Multiplied by you again.
Where did you lose out on the lima bean story and not having a pan? I
never even started that.
Oh, I wanted to cook lima beans. I didn't have a pan. I said, 19 years old. I said, how did I get to be 78 years old and not have a pan to cook my lima beans? I said, where did I eat? The whole house. I looked all over the place. And now you know how many pans are coming?
And lima beans are such an acquired taste. They're not for everybody.
I know they're not, but the pans, you wanna make a bet now, how many pans are coming?
Yeah.
Oh,
You could have gone to the barn, purple pants.
oh, I never should have said a word.
Like, you complain about, I got a $20 bill, but I'm
You know, the webcams don't really stand for justice until you see them in person.
I can't hear too well.
How are you feeling since your orange line? Every time I sit on the T and I see an elevator, I'm like,
Right. Ah, bad scene.
very bad.
Bad scene.
But you're recovering pretty good.
There comes Annie. You found us.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
We have dogs.
Yeah.
These are so old and heavy. Sturdy.
Sturdy.
Yeah.
Sturdy is a good word.
Even their head is heavy.
Is this the first time you've seen them close up, or have you been to the house?
I've never been in the
Oh,
house.
you better come on up. Where do you live?
I live in Boston.
You do? Oh, okay. It is possible, I guess, to live in Boston.
Getting so much love today.
If you get out of the shuttle at the airport, we pick you up in Peabody.
Sit down, sweetheart. I'm not sure I have enough stamina to be one of your people on overnight. Just get there. They're hiding people. You have that food.
Yeah?
Yes, you were the first dog to sit on me and have the legs still touch the ground. Yes, you were.
He was up in my office earlier and wouldn't stop sitting on my lap. I was like, I'm not a chair.
Just, yeah, that was such a nice little boy.
He's a perfect office dog, though.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't he really fix
Is that
with
in your
you?
I know, I don't have any chipped beef today on me. That's when you usually see me, I'm chipping beef.
He hasn't got out yet. We can get it.
How is your Bentley doing on his elevator?
He's not doing well. He really, I had him out today in a grocery store, and he shook the whole time. Panted, shook. He's nervous.
Eventually he will get over this, or it's going to be
I
something
have
he...
no idea. I do know at the moment I can't trust him. Because he leaped so fast at that guy's hand. Somebody came in with one of these deals. The guy he knew. And he took it. And he crunched. Huh?
He bounced my hand 2 days ago.
Did he?
He does mine all the time.
But he does, yeah. I mean,
Nothing
he
is
walks
one
that-
thing. No, if he needs to bite, he bites.
Yeah, I don't, it was, he was
Nothing is-
following me outside as I walked through the hill, and I was just a little, but I didn't trust him.
Yeah, you don't trust it.
It's like, about those.
See, to have it here now, I could have it, you could walk around the crowd, and, work the crowd, and talk to everybody, and he'd be fine. I can't do that anymore. Because I had him at an MS meeting just 2 days ago, and a woman came in with a walker, and he fixed on her. I have to have my hand on him all the time to feel what he's doing or look at him. You couldn't do what Oliver's.
His fixation on the screen. He's meant for Hollywood.
Janine, I'm told that if you give more than a day's notice, we have someone who would come to 3,000 miles to see this live.
Really?
He's sitting in
Who's that?
Dr. Chris P.
Who?
I don't know.
Not familiar to me.
But check out all the labs to see which one you want to stay on for the session, huh?
Well, I'm hoping we get some more people out of this deal. That's why I came in here.
We have 479 viewers at the moment.
Well, before I left, I went upstairs to see one of our
480.
attorneys, and I saw a case of dog food on, and she's new, saw a case of dog food on her floor in her cube. And I'm like, we haven't talked dogs yet. And she said, oh, I have a Great Dane, and I mean, a great greyhound. So then, of course, I brought up this, and she was actually gonna come tonight, because she's like, she goes, oh, why wish I do? But she's gonna come up one day with me to volunteer,
Oh
and
my, we're getting even more comfortable.
so.
Are you getting comfy?
Oliver, that's not a seat.
This is a seat.
It's the best seat in the house.
Did you all hear that we had 83 fire departments that were covered?
Nice.
Unbelievable. And they all had such a good time. The people had such a good time. What are you doing?
You are such a camera hog.
Join us.
New seat.
You know, to be successful with that, we even chose the right dog too, because no two look alike.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you got a nice smorgasbord.
I mean, if you had a whole bunch of brown dogs here, that wouldn't be nearly as interesting as these clowns. We were talking on the way in that the dogs we raise are different than the ones we get from Europe. Just plain, whole different attitude.
Do they bark with an accent?
Yeah. But they don't have that attention that these guys do, and I think it's the spoon feed.
Hello, are you here for the innovation room?
Yeah.
Yes, welcome. Grab a seat wherever you're comfortable.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Know whether you needed.
No. We're not that formal.
I'm Deborah from Brighton. I figured you came to Boston, why not? I can come in.
Sure.
I also bought TREATSs, but I don't know.
No.
No, okay, fine, then they stay over
No,
here.
sometimes you get the gut moving. You don't want to do that.
No, then I.
You missed the dog farts earlier. It's pretty
On
right.
the way home.
Yeah. With 3 of them, you know?
This is the priceless thing here. Are you watching this?
No, but I,
Him?
yeah.
Watch him watching.
Oh,
Yeah, he's addicted.
He is addicted to it. Whatever she's looking.
I know. Not.
These are much different classroom than we have at ours.
It's very,
These are nice.
yeah.
You stand the issue
There used to be a board up there that we ripped down.
Oh, yeah.
There used to be a board. The boards were just distracting in the end.
You wanna go over here, watch your TV?
Over something.
It's a free little girl.
It's so funny. You couldn't train him.
Obsessed
So
with
that's your seat in the middle. We need another person right there in the middle.
And
She's like, what?
Sit in the middle.
Here.
Yeah. Not interested.
Oh, he's there he goes.
So this will be a different mail call. No packages to open.
That's true.
No whiteboard to hold up.
See it first.
This is really small. It's not an holder. Look at your eyes.
Elmer.
So much
Hey,
He's trying to behave. He's trying to behave and not disrupt you.
He's gonna push. Get out of here. Push her away. Oh, she's good.
Come here, turn around.
Can you turn around like that? You're gonna hit me with the curve of your tail.
Come here. There.
Down, 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 back up, down. That's it, pull her foot. Down. Hey, hey, down. Lie down. Lie down. You're gonna ruin my reputation. Lie down. Both ends. More down. That's a good girl. That's a good girl.
And which one's that?
Down. Ava.
That's Ava.
These two are 10 months old. Got that? Yeah. Oh, down.
Ava Gardner and Carlene. Movie stars.
I straightened out your tail for you.
My friend's granddaughter that I brought last week is an Ava, so she loved having a picture taken with Ava. Yeah, I worked in our Boston office today.
Just so you know, the audio is live. Just try not to curse too much.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you always have a notice at home when the audio is on. But everyone's well.
There he is.
There's
He's Can I come?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel.
There's coffee. There's coffee. There's just no sugar.
Check it out.
I'm going to start
He's
recording.
sitting on you. He likes that.
He just likes to look over my shoulder because he likes to watch the TV.
I wish I could get my
Yeah, the TV hog.
Stop bothering me. That's hysterical. Hello. Aren't you pretty? Hello.
Hi. Are you camera people or are you?
Yes. But we live down the street.
This is great.
Hi. No, I don't have anything here. I actually brought something for you.
What's Ellie got, huh?
All right.
Ralph
We're
Lauren
recording on many, many ways. Are you gonna go? Want to join your friends watching TV?
Hold on, I almost tried to give it to Janine once, but she
Oh. Drool on that one. Before he had his face shoved right onto my keyboard and he was drooling on it. I was like, stop!
His interior design.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, that'd be fun to look at.
Oh, they are so awesome. Oops.
You don't want to say hello?
Put this down there right now. Ralph Lauren has a flash of 2 feet.
We have 539 and growing viewers.
Would it help if we brought like the circle in a little bit so it looks like we have the people here?
I'd rather not get people in the shot,
Okay.
just for
your
for either, unless you really want.
Okay, no.
I'm just worried because from my media brain is like, contracts, live stream. Well, and I'm sure everyone online came to see the dogs, right? I might have to just refocus the camera, like just down to the ground. They're all falling asleep.
So we are live now, are we?
Are you sleepy?
We have been live for a while.
So I can show you?
No, we're not. Well, I'm going to officially start, and we can just chatter for a few minutes because we're.
Well, I was going to chatter in that that's one thing that's very critical with people who have a service dog, who have a disability, is that the people look at the dog, not the disability. And this is a great part of having a Great Dane service dog. Because everybody watches the dog.
Yeah.
And it helps the PTSD guys. Stop spitting.
Somebody asked if we have a swear bear handy just in case. I said no. We don't. Somebody, Janine, posted to you earlier, you know your audio's on, right? And I was like, uh-oh, what did she say?
Yeah. That, by the way, runs in the family.
It's all right. I'm from Jersey. We're all like that.
Oh, I'm a Jersey. We're in Jersey.
Princeton.
Westfield.
Okay.
Exit 135.
Thanks for thinking about it. Luckily, mine's not directly off an exit, so I don't have to say an exit.
All right.
That's a pretty dog. Isn't that a pretty dog?
Yeah.
He's ginormous.
I love ginormous.
Wait,
Yeah,
just like George, too.
You married.
That's nice. As soon as I walked in.
No, our yard is big. I don't think the cats will appreciate.
We have a lot of those. We had a black stud dog for a long time. So we have a lot of black in our bloodlines.
Oh, okay.
All right.
so that we could each get it.
Just south, nice.
Your care of
There are people from all over creation.
That doesn't sound.
I really like it. It's now putting, it's coming all together. She's one of the hardest working volunteers ever.
That was like when I went to see Laura in a horse show, like she was just so adorable in her horsewear.
Had a beautiful.
And it wasn't, I felt bad. I was like,
See, I think this is the way we should have been doing all the because we have 558 viewers.
Yeah, I always feel like winter.
Well, that, but also it's easier to access than our recording down the line. We're joining a webinar and only seeing a live stream.
All right, so Oliver's not in the picture.
A little bit better, I think. Hopefully,
You still get a recording, right?
yeah, it's recording, and I also have that as backup.
Oliver. They were taunting him earlier, Ellie, with the fake cat.
At home, we're good
From
45
Paula.
minutes.
So the fake cat.
Oh, the NSA cat. Yeah, we call it NSA cat.
Yes, they were taunting him.
Wait, was it on?
Yeah, they turned on.
Oh, see, I left it on overnight and killed its batteries on purpose.
Oh, that was nice of you.
So someone must have replaced them to be horrible.
And he was like,
He used to hide it in people's drawers or their desks, so they'd go, they'd be like, in the desk, and they'd be like, whoopah.
Oh, that's not gonna work.
What's wrong?
You get so nervous. Come here. Come here. All right, that's good. But his butt's closer. Come here.
his tail is.
He's nervous.
It makes him neurotic.
That's what makes me watch the other ones about really
Horses, too much tired.
Who's calling me at 5:30?
Oliver, catch them right there. That's perfect.
That's good.
Yeah, that's right.
Now,
All right, so.
yeah, that's fine. He's like, hold on, these were just like.
I think I'm gonna do the introduction. Sorry, 3 minutes, but you don't have. Okay, because we have a lot to cover. Yeah. All right, so I think we can probably go ahead and get started. I am Janine Jakes from the New England College of Business, and we are hosting the Service Dog Project tonight here in our Innovation Room. The New England College of Business is a completely online college. We have MBA programs, NEASC accredited. We have graduate and undergraduate. And one of the degree programs that we have is an undergraduate in digital marketing, and we're looking to do more in the nonprofit space within this college. So we're trying to embrace social enterprises, and underneath the umbrella of social enterprise, you have for-profit businesses with social good, and then you also have nonprofits. So tonight we have a nonprofit, Service Dog Project, in the house. A lot of you people are from the Service Dog Project. We have about 500 or 600 people watching online. And so you're familiar with the Service Dog Project, but tonight we're going to talk about kind of the beginning to the end of the Service Dog Project and all of the creative things that they do. My background is I'm a PhD, I research, and I study a lot. My dissertation, my background is computer science, and I did my dissertation on online fundraising, and this was way back before, like when social media was just beginning. And it's really funny, I've watched, and I'm the chairman of the Service Dog Project Board, and I run my own nonprofit, and everything that I studied and researched and the results of my hypothesis are what my mother, my crazy mother, has come up with to try to run the Service Dog Project and raise donations. And I'm continually amazed at the following that she has on the Service Dog Project, because she comes up with these crazy ideas, and all of those crazy CPs follow her ideas. The most recent one was bringing cakes to the fire stations, and I know a lot of people are watching know what I'm talking about, but how many cakes were delivered throughout the country to fire stations? Because Carlene said we should appreciate our firemen and deliver them cakes, because she delivered a cake to a firehouse. How many cakes were delivered?
83 and counting.
83 cakes on February 19th, which is a significant day in the Service Dog Project. The 19th of any month is Cake Day. So people throughout the country, 83 people throughout the country bought a cake to a firehouse. That's the power of social media, that is really something that Carlene's going to talk about tonight. But let's begin by, and I'm going to moderate, we've got Carlene, who's the founder, and actually my mother too. But we try to rule that out. Annie, who is the most wonderful volunteer, and I actually didn't recognize her because when she comes in here, or when I see her on the farm all the time, she's not dressed like that. Let's just say. She's one of our most valued volunteers, and Katie is one of the trainers of these 3 dogs. So let's start with Katie and focus on the dogs. And what do we have here for a little selection? And this is just a subset of what's on the farm.
So we have Clark and Ava. They're 2 service dogs in training, and Vincent fellow
Oliver, who's he's a service dog, but he's more of a fabulous failure. He's his job right now is that he goes to nursing homes, and he's kind of the icon, and he also happens to be my dog. So he rode the subway with me today on my way to work. He did really well, except I'm sitting there along the bench, and he sat on the lady next to me. He backed right up and sat right on her lap. But so he's a wonderful dog. He has all the capabilities of a service dog, but we need a dog in-house to do things like help other dogs and go to nursing homes and promote good. So Annie, do you want to talk a little bit before we get into the nuts and bolts of the service dog, what it feels like to be a...
one of the better nuts.
Yeah.
I have done a lot of volunteering in my life, and I will say that the Service Dog Project is the pinnacle of it. Things that you don't think you could ever do physically, you do. Never thought I would wrangle a donkey. I do. Because...
And she's done that well.
Because they prop you up to be able to do those type things. It also clears your mind of sitting in a cube all week, because the dogs have to come first. And after meeting recipients and seeing the changes to not only their lives but their families' lives, I will pick up poop and clean kettles and do laundry as long as I am able to, because I see the end result.
Yeah. Good. And don't you feel like you're a part of a much bigger society?
Very much so.
The thing that's so interesting from a research standpoint is the way to watch the service dog projects grow. So there are people that are watching right now from Australia. I saw that in the comments earlier. There's people out in California and all over the world that watch the service dog projects through webcams. And they've really taken the technology and the technology is just a commodity, but it's delivering this inclusion so that everybody throughout the world can feel like they're a part of the dogs' lives. So I remember back when it was like 2002 or something, and my mother went from having a herd of miniature donkeys, and that's the donkey wrangling, and we had an 8-donkey hitch. She's been crazy for a long time, and she's always had something going on. She came up with this idea that she was going to start this nonprofit. She was going to use Great Danes for service dogs, and I was like, right, okay, because this is what they do. And
this is what they're bred for.
They're really good at sleeping, so I can't imagine them having a job doing anything. And she came up with this idea, and I've just slowly watched her focus and put all of her time and energy. And I've always believed if you focus on one thing and put all of your energy in one thing, you will be successful at that one thing. Most likely at the cost of everything else in your life, but you'll be successful at that one thing. And so throughout the years, my mother lives over at a farm that's 6 miles away from where I live. Some days that's not far enough, some days that's not close enough. And she gets up in the morning, and it's all day long service dog project till she goes to bed. And she starts her day at 3 or 4 in the morning, and she goes to bed sometimes at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. She writes a doggy daily, which she started writing the doggy daily back before people were even blogging. She started this every morning. She likes to write, so she writes her doggy daily.
You're saying things that aren't true, but go ahead.
What, you don't like to write?
Well, that's not how it, yeah. That started out to be a problem to begin with, and then people began to feed back into me with all these things. Now I can copy and paste, and I'm really good at that.
She uses constant contact now. Yeah.
So, I mean, if anybody writes anything to me that I could possibly copy and paste, I do that. That fills it up, you know? Because some mornings, I mean, you get up and you think, oh my God, what am I gonna put in the daily doggy today? You know, I mean, the other day it was lima beans. You missed the lima bean probably at the moment, I guess.
But the interesting thing is, if you look at what all the nonprofits are doing right now, is we're trying to create blogs to get attention and all the content marketing, when really, if you just, she gets up and she just includes and cuts and pastes and writes a few things, but she writes from what's really happening, and she's not writing the Doggy Daily because it's a blog post that needs to happen. It's stuff that's going on, and that's what includes people. And right now, I see, I work with so many other nonprofits, and they think they need to schedule their job post, the social media post. They're going to do their blog post, and they're writing to get attention for their nonprofit, not to communicate.
I get up in the morning, if the drain on the tub is clogged, that's what's in the Daily Doggy. And then we discuss unclogging the drain.
And that's the inclusion part that becomes so significant.
And everybody can relate to most of the stuff that happens. It's just normal stuff. And having the cameras there, there are 6 cameras now, and they're talking about putting more microphones on some of the other cameras. You can't get away from the cameras in my house. In my room, I have 1 room and a bathroom. I started out with 12 acres, but I have 1 room and a bathroom now. And the rest is all dogs, really. And everybody can watch it.
Yeah, and most of the CPs will say they start their day by checking in and seeing what's going on at the farm and have my coffee and read my Doggy Daily.
And at the end of the workday, they watch mail call, 5 o'clock mail call, which unfortunately is 3 o'clock in California, so I don't know why they're quitting at that hour. But that's their quiet time of day where they all sort of collapse into the mail call deal. And whatever happens, happens. And we've had some very strange things happen in mail call. We have. There's some kids in Colorado. There's some students, about 3rd grade, 4th grade, that they got involved. And then we tried doing the Nutty Professor stuff. A mail call. We got all involved with ping pong balls bouncing all over the place and water flowing around us. We had a great time with the whole.
But the way that the mail call works is people from all over the country and all over the world send in mail. It's like Mr. Rogers, and for those people who are of my age generation, and Mr. Rogers would communicate with. So people from school children from Colorado will send her little things for the dogs, and she will open it up in front of the mail call. So people watch to see when their thing gets opened, and they say thank you, and the dog delivers. One of the dogs delivers a basket of mail, and it's similar to the Mr. Rogers taking off his cardigan in the little song. But again, the theme here.
We ought to do a Mr. Rogers mail call.
Yeah.
That would be all right.
But the theme is people. You're reaching out to people, and they're seeing where their goodness is going. Is they see one of the school children, they all collected $1. They put it in an envelope, and then 3 days later, my mother's opening up $24 out of a little envelope. So you want to talk about, speaking of envelopes, the envelope campaign you went on?
The pink envelope?
Yeah.
Oh my. We gave a dog to a kiddo up in New Hampshire, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, something like that, Teal. She could not walk. And we tried her out. We had a demo dog about like this one at the time. I took her over to the mall, and I said, look, hold on to that harness and walk. And she walked a quarter of a mile for the first time in, 5-6 years? She'd never, she didn't know she could walk like that. So we got the dog ready for her, and she went to school, and she was having a fine time for a while. But then the boys began to pick on her, and they began to grab the dog by the tail. And we knew that was happening, so I made a reservation to go meet with the principal. And 5 of us went up, sitting in a row outside the principal's office one day. And she came out of her office at 9 o'clock in the morning and said, I don't have time for you guys. You son of a bitch. So I came home and I got online with all these people, and I said, go on out and buy 2 pink envelopes. And you go send one to the superintendent of schools and one to that principal. And mail them on Tuesday, and within a week, the people in the post office said they had over 10,000 pink envelopes. People said a lot more than 2, I'm sure, but we swamped the post office with pink envelopes, and now they pay attention to us when we go up there. And the girl is doing very well now. But it took somebody to say, wait a minute, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
We did.
Well, we had the same problem with Bella and George, who are not here because Bella's not feeling well. And Bella's, her school system, the problem with that you encounter a lot of times is the laws about service animals. They say that the requirement for accommodations for schools and businesses are really up to they're supposed to try to accommodate, but if you can replace the dog with a cane or a wheelchair, they're going to say, leave the dog at home.
I don't think that's exactly the law. The ADA, the ADA says the dogs are allowed anywhere a cane or touch is allowed, period. What becomes the problem is the school a private club, if you will, where they can make their own rules and things. And the poor principal, I wish I could get her to write me a letter about, can you imagine being faced with something like this with a kid that's, got her arm over the back of the dog. She weighs 1/3 what the dog does. And she said, I'm in control. And the principal's concept of a big dog is out of control. And she didn't realize that dog is fine.
Yeah.
And it took a long time, and a lot of time, we had to go, she went, I went, Megan went to the school to try and calm everybody down and say, let them work, leave them alone, don't go near them.
And it was more of an education process for all of the rest of the kids. Because you walk down the street with a dog this size, you're going to meet everybody on the street because they're going to be like, can I touch him on the street? You should ride that thing. And so when you walk into a school with a Great Dane who's, highly trained, and you get this herd of very exciting school children coming at him and trying to pat him and touch him and hug him, and it's a lot for everybody. And the school really just kind of gave up too soon, and it took a while. And what we did was we went on a social media campaign as well to get visibility that for the school system, and we just got this swell of people, and they brought the dog back, and it was funny, one of the other trainers, Megan, she went to school every day for 5 days with the little Bella, and I would text her every day, like, how's it going? What are you learning? She's sitting there in, like, 3rd grade English. And now, George just won the Service Dog of the Year award.
Number one service dog in the country.
The big difference for most of these kids is that if they are in a wheelchair or they're not using their bodies, then they atrophy and their condition typically becomes much worse. So the more that they can get up, even though when George and Bella started, George was doing more dragging than Bella was doing walking, but now they're mobile together. The other thing is when you're in a wheelchair, people on the street, they don't know how to, notice the next time you walk by someone in a wheelchair, you don't look down at them and you don't look them in the eye. I've talked to lots of handicapped people. People just don't know how to interact with them. So if you're in a wheelchair, people look above you and you don't have
You talk to whoever's with you.
Yeah.
I've tried this. They talk to her instead of me.
Yeah. Yes, when I took you through the airport.
Right.
Yes, they kept asking me.
It's like I couldn't hear, I couldn't see, I couldn't talk.
You could just ask her. So
can she walk?
There's a psychological thing about having a dog and having it help you to be able to be mobile and to be part of the society. Because most people that I've met through the Service Dog Project, they don't want to be in a wheelchair. It's like they're giving up. They want to do every possible cane dog solution before they get into a wheelchair.
The other thing on the topic of wheelchairs, is what we have instigated at our place is if anybody comes to want a dog and they're in crutches or wheelchair or whatever, I have them try to walk with their partner, husband, whatever, and put their hand in the person's back pocket of their blue jeans. And that approximates where the dog's handle would be. And if they can walk around with a person with their hand in somebody's back pocket, then they're possible. There are a few other qualifications like sense of humor and IQ and things like that. But that's the qualifying element. If you can't walk with a dog hanging out of somebody's back pocket, then probably you can't have a dog. That's a probably, because nothing is written in stone at our place at all.
Because this is kind of a new area for mobility dogs. Great Danes, I don't think there's any other group in the country that uses Great Danes. I mean, they're perfect because they're gigantic, and they're strong.
They're strong and they're quiet. And they don't shed too much, they shed a little bit, it's but, you know, they adapt well to humans. It's the same, if I have a jacket on, I gotta put a jacket on the dog. Not for 5 minutes out, but if you're gonna be out for a while, you put a jacket or something on the dog.
But over the years, you've had a number of CPs post, oh, I actually went out today, and I held on to my husband's back pocket.
Yeah.
And I didn't use my cane or my crutch, and I was standing up better. So just the suggestion, yeah, people are trying it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a restaurant, I left my walker home.
I'm standing up straighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have this with the walker.
Yeah. Right.
The walker. And then the other thing with canes and walkers is you've got to bend over it because your center of gravity, in case you start to go backwards, the cane's going to come up, the walker's going to come up. But if you've got to hold somebody's back pocket, they're going to, you know, but it...
Or if you've got hold of the dog. That's really where the brilliance of the dog is that with canes and walkers, you go backwards.
And they're trained to ignore the pull and the vest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that's amazing about Oliver is he can be a very naughty dog, and you put that vest on him, and he is perfect. Like walking down the street, he kind of pulls me along, but I put the vest on, and he's right here, and I can see that he's highly trained. But he also knows the difference between wearing the vest and not having the vest on. And George is the same way. You take the vest off, and he runs around and plays, and he's a normal dog.
That's true with all of our dogs. We started at an early age. You put the vest on and it's work. You take it off, you play. But we start training them at about 3 weeks when they first start on solid food. We start spoon feeding. And it's ridiculous, but it does work. And there are pictures of all of us with a whole litter of puppies around us all just sitting there waiting to be fed. And you take their name and you just give a spoonful. And, you know, if they get too close, back up. So by the time they're 8, 10 weeks old, they know come, here, sit, tight. They know their name. They know back up. Maybe if you're lucky. And they're already, that's half the battle with a lot of these dogs is to come when their name's called. People spend a lot of time at the end of a leash. Come, you know. You didn't do that. You feed the dogs. You know, you put the liver in your left pocket, they heal. You know.
Katie, what are some of the other training things that you and Megan do?
Right now we have 31 puppies on the property, so Megan and I are pretty much in charge of those. At the age that they're at now, which is roughly 4 to 5 months, we're doing a lot of just public outings, public access, working on downstays in public. Excuse me. Learning to walk on a leash next to
Going through checkouts.
Going
through checkouts.
Yeah.
That's a biggie.
Waiting while you're standing there, check out. So just anything that the person with a disability, we hope that they'll gain their independence and be able to go to stores and doctor's offices and all those public places. And so all of their training is basically that.
And you also, between Megan and Katie and Steve, the other trainer, is they take pictures and they post them on our Instagram and Facebook. So again, they're pulling in the world when they're out training. You can see lots of little videos on a YouTube channel and...
I forgot. My business cards.
Oh, and her business cards. See, again...
I don't bring very many.
This is her business card. I don't know if you've ever gotten a business card like this. How many people have gotten a business card? But when you are out at a conference and somebody gives you this as a business card, you're far less likely to lose this than you are a regular business card. I go to conferences and I leave with a stack of business cards, and they go in the stack that's in my office. No one's ever given me one of these. And it's interesting because, kind of in the business industry, because in addition to playing with dogs all day, on the weekends, I'm a business professional at the New England College of Business. So some of the things that the business, and there's some faculty here, is they'll say that you want to stand out and, to put a QR code on the back of your business card and really how to get your business card to pop. I can't think of anything better than this.
They work.
They work.
People say them.
Because one of the things is a lot of times when you're looking at business cards, there's been studies that if your business card is on the nicer paper and glossy versus the Vistaprint ones, people are less likely to throw them out. I don't know if I would people probably don't want to throw this out because they don't know what to do with it. So,
It's in the coin pocket.
yeah.
And I'm supposed to have a bunch, but I only have 3. So they're really lovely to have
The
them.
best will fill, the best should have.
The best have.
Yeah.
What else is in our vests?
We keep food pickers.
And do you want to show us?
Demo road?
Again, this is a creative for anyone who's got.
Well, it's also an inclusionary thing, because the people who support us, and it's this $10 chicken shit thing, which we'll talk about later. But if you can't afford that, then there's this dollar up business. Send me $1 in the mail. I'll put it. And if you can't afford that, then sit and cut up your cereal box in the morning into 3-inch by 6-inch, and fold it up with your grocery bags. And that's this is how we control the chip picking. And it works extremely well. I've had a lot of experience with all kinds of shit. You just scoop, and you pick, and you put it in the grocery bag.
In the bag that's included.
The bag is included.
Yep.
You tie the top, so the smell's gone. This is in there. You don't have anything to wash later.
Just
tie the top, leave it there.
Scoop
And
like
if you
this.
And where do we get most of ours now?
We get most of them through the mail. They come at mail call.
Boxes and boxes and
Boxes
boxes.
and boxes and
This
boxes.
looks like angel food cakes, cereal boxes.
We don't really ever have to make them on the farm.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We started
And
out.
sometimes people put little notes on the back.
Oh,
too.
yes. Oh, yes.
And it, and you know, the other good thing, I don't know about the others of the dog, but Oliver goes once, he runs off into my woods, goes off, does his business, and comes back, and he never goes during the day.
Don't
Ever.
say no, because
I know, but every once in a while, he'll break that promise. And I've been like, oh my God, there's a vest. So,
And as a volunteer, we've always been told you should always have in your back pocket, that's why they're this size.
Yeah.
And she has sometimes posted, let me know if you see any volunteers without poo pickers and bags in their pockets, and she will get, Annie doesn't have any again.
yeah,
So they really are involved in monitoring.
You have to keep the place clean. It is extremely rare for anybody to step in anything in our place. And there's 65 dogs. And go once or twice a day. So we use a lot of these. But you don't smell anything.
and you don't step in.
You don't
It's
step in.
amazing.
You don't. You're not allowed it.
Yeah.
She's very nice.
The volunteers are trained to pick up, not step.
You leave your ego at the gate, that's the way it
Yeah.
says. Everybody picks. If you see it first, you pick it.
But let's get back to, again, the inclusion piece. I just want to reiterate the fact that if you can't give us a $25 donation, give us a $10 donation. If you can't give us a $10 donation, give us a $1 donation. If you can't give us a $1, cut up boxes. And, you know,
People do.
if you have ever given money to a nonprofit, one of the big nonprofits, you end up on every list, and I know that. And so many nonprofits focus so much time on their big donors, but not on the little donors. And that's what makes the Service Dog Project a viable option, is people give, if we get enough people that they give $1 and they feel like they're part of a community. And so talk about the chicken, this is the biggest moneymaker in the world.
Before you start laughing at it, it's $20,000 a month. Month after month after month.
And all it takes is a table and a chicken.
Yes. Actually, somebody she knew put the program together for us, but you can go online and buy a chicken brick, it's called, and it's basically a square with a number. And you get to post a picture of yours up there, whatever. But you buy this number for $10. And the first Sunday of every month, we take all those numbers, and we have a 10-foot long by 8-foot table, it's a great big one. We put these stickers on with all the numbers. And we take out 3 chickens and put them on. And the first chicken to shit becomes, identifies the winner and becomes a member of the Chattapon Society of Ipswich. And gets a big thing signed by me that says they're a Chattapon member. And people like it.
Yeah.
I also slip them a little money that's under the $600 limit right out of my pocket, and I don't deduct it. Because if you're over 600, then you're a bingo, and I avoid raffle bingo words like that because the Attorney General's office gets in the middle of that one. So I try and stay under that. But basically, you get this certificate that says you're a Chattapon member, and it works. And online, online, these people get after each other. Come on, we got to sell more. You know, it's almost the end of the month. Get your money up, and it goes on, and they keep it going. And if they didn't, we'd be in trouble. We'd be out.
The program that I was at a conference, I don't know, 10 years ago when I was doing my research on online fundraising, I met the CEO for a small startup company called Mosaic. And his technology, what you do is, he was trying to sell it to schools. I don't know where it is with schools, but it's great with chicken bingo. And what you do is you go, nonprofits use Mosaic. They upload, so all of their donors can go, they click and they upload a picture, and they buy normally what they're doing is you're building a wall, like a wall of hope, a wall of, you know, the class of 2016 might buy a wall, and then all of their students will upload their pictures onto the wall, and then you write something. So I had to just change it a little bit so it could support the chicken bingo stuff. And he was early enough on in his startup that he had no problem doing that. And I swear, you probably made a lot of money on that, because they make a little bit of a transaction because he does the credit card stuff. But each one of the people that buys a brick, they upload a picture of their favorite dog, or you know, anything to do with the service dog project. Sometimes not other people. And so at the end of every month, you have this gigantic wall of images. And how many people? I have 2,100 numbers on the basic wall, and then I got into a problem because I couldn't, as far as everybody was concerned, keep adding numbers, because that would be money grabbing, and people they'd tell me I shouldn't do that. I mean, the camera people get after me if I do something wrong. So what I've had to do is I draw a line. When they're sold out, I then open the flying purple egg division. Yeah. There's another 300 or 400 numbers that they then can buy after they're sold out, because that sold out thing is really critical to us. But the flying egg thing is, I built one of these things where you put the egg in here and it goes down this thing and it cracks itself onto the numbers, and wherever the yolk lands is the winner of $50. So it's just an extra little bit of nonsense, but it's good, and that makes us another $300-400 just in the purple egg division. And there's a webcam for the whole chicken. You know, there's a process where we go and catch the chicken, we bring it over to the table, and usually it's on the first Sunday or the second Sunday? First Sunday. And so there's a whole bunch of videos that take place just watching. It takes 45 minutes to put those stickers on the table. Yeah, and there's video cameras so that people can see what's happening on the farm and feel like they're a part of it. Do you want to talk about some of the people that are watching? Not just CPs, but some of the letters that we got from people that watch. We help many, many more people than the ones who have our dogs, in that there are an awful lot of people in this country who are isolated for one reason or another, either geographically or medically or whatever. Thousands of people watch our cameras and live by whatever we do. And we get letters to that effect about how my father was dying, and I had sat there and watched I watched the cameras. It was my only cheerful point in my, it goes on and on and on. And we have hundreds, thousands of letters like that. As I say, they don't miss a thing. Like the day I wear one of these, I've fallen and I can't get up deals somewhere, that thing. And I was going to take a bath one night, so I took all my clothes off, threw them in the washing machine, got in the bathtub. And then I hear, Mrs. White, we're calling emergency for you. And this thing was in the washing machine going round and round and round. So I had 30 seconds to get to the machine to shut it off, think, oh, don't call anybody. So I go running across the kitchen floor, and I realize the goddamn camera is it's going around the world. Things like that just happen,
I know there was a CP that I once drove, and she had been in the hospital, and was depressed and had some medical things going on, and a nurse said to her, I'm going to give you a list. I want you to look it up. I'm not going to say anything about it, but you tell me what you think. And it took her mind off of all her issues she was having. So I was so happy to hear that medical professionals are saying, This will,
And that
this
website
will
is explore.org. So explore.org is a website of basically 20 different boxes of interesting places throughout the world. And the Service Dog Project has one of those boxes.
6 of them.
6 of them. 6 of them. 6 of them?
6 of them.
I don't
Yeah,
need to go out there
Explore.org
because
is part of the Annenberg Foundation. Which is big. And they basically give us $150,000 a year, of which we spend about $50,000 on them. Because we have to have somebody with the dogs round the clock. Keep the cameras going straight and keep the dogs going straight, keep them clean. So we have 24-hour coverage of the dogs, and I don't know if we'd have that if we didn't have those cameras on us. You know, especially if we didn't have the money. Because it costs quite a bit to have that. But it's fine. People do the laundry. We have 3 full commercial laundry outfits, washer, dryer, 3 different buildings. We do laundry constantly. Clorox, I can't tell you how much Clorox we go through. We buy it at Costco about three times a week, and they come 3 to a box, you know, so it's a lot of Clorox. I was looking at the trash going out today, and there's a whole bag full of empty Clorox bottles. It's a big operation. And it hurts, but on we go. But it has to be pretty spotless. And everybody will tell you if somebody's doing something wrong or they feel somebody's doing something wrong. When these cameras first started, somebody called me at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, "There's a bird in the barn." You know, and to that was a terrible thing for them. Thank God they've learned since then not to do that. I said, "No, you call me if the barn's on fire. But you don't call me if a bird's in the barn." Well, the next thing that happened was I was sitting at my computer one day typing away, and I fell asleep with my head right on the keyboard. And there was a whole discussion about, shall we call 911? Is he all right? What's happening? And they finally called me on the phone, and I woke up.
She's been sitting there and like looking for something, and someone on the camera would say, "Oh, it's over," you know.
That's a good story. We were trying to order Chinese food, and I couldn't find the menu. It's usually right over here. And I couldn't find it. We're saying, where is it? And I got a telephone call from New York saying it's in your center drawer, and it was. They don't miss a thing. Not a thing. If I have a hole in my sock, I guarantee you, in the next week I will have 4 dozen pair of socks in the mail. It goes on and on. I just complained about not having a pot to boil my lima beans, and I just know what's going to happen by next week. I bet you I'll have a dozen pots.
So talk a little bit more about the relationship you have with the Annenberg Foundation. How did that come about? I can't even remember.
I don't know why they chose us, except we're lovely. Because I didn't really pay any attention to it whatsoever. The first thing I knew was this guy came up the driveway and asked if they could put cameras in, and I was busy doing something else. I said, well, as long as it doesn't cost me anything. So they put the cameras in September. And I really, again, they hadn't given me any money, and we kind of went along, and we didn't know what was going on. We heard Annenberg Foundation was involved, and we thought, oh, well, that's a good name. You know, we just kind of kept going. And then in January, they invited us out to California, myself and somebody else who can spell. And we went out to the office of the Explore part of the Annenberg Foundation, which is Charlie Annenberg, who likes dogs. And actually, I took a dog out with him, looked like this one. And we talked to his business manager and him, and we had a wonderful time and everything like that. And we still didn't get any money. And we were holding our breath by now because keeping this going was coming out of our funds, because we're still on this all night long deal, and we still didn't have any money. And then the 1st of March, we got a check for $150,000. That was very nice. That bailed us out. So we went on the rest of the year. She asked me if one of the gals who runs their office out there said, well, why don't you try and just answer a few questions for these people? They may ask you questions or whatever. And that turned into the Daily Doggy and the mail call deal, where I check in with that thing many times during the day. And if I have got anything to do, I'll just answer whatever. And the people who are asking me questions type it in capital letters so I can see it when I'm scanning down through hundreds and hundreds of these emails. And on we go.
But the one thing, if you like study social media is that Gary Vaynerchuk, it's all about that personal touch with your volunteers and your supporters, and having you respond to people. And also, I know that Megan and the trainers and everybody, and the person at night, because a part of explore.org, it's a social site, so there's all this discussion that goes on. People can post comments and they talk to each other, and there's a lot going on in Explore every single night. And the person that's sitting there with the dogs is also replying. There are times when I've been over there and it's, midnight or something, and somebody's posting up, I only see 8 puppies, where's the 9th? And they're lifting up puppies, trying to find the 9th puppy and that sort of stuff. And then there's people who are just asking general questions. Some of the issues with social media that happens is, I don't know if you guys realize this, but out on social media there are crazy people that are that will attack you for just about anything you do. And that's been one of the challenges for the Service Dog Project, because it's such a good community and everything's so positive, but then all of a sudden you get one of those crazy social media people that are on Facebook or on Instagram that is just out.
I can give you a good one right now. Is I battled with a woman for a long time about these chain collars. They used to be called choke collars. They're not choke collars. The dogs choke on those leather collars when they're straining against it. These are training collars. If you use it correctly, you use it with 2 fingers. You jiggle it to say, hey, pay attention. It's a conversation piece. It's not a control. We don't control the dogs with these. You talk to them. We don't have any control over these dogs. We talk to them. Because they're bigger than, well, they're not bigger than I am, but bigger than some people. But that's why Bella has full control over that dog. She talks to it. And you have to be able to, most of the time she hasn't got her. The collar's on the dog, and the chain, the leash is hanging. It doesn't reach the floor because these are leashes I make, so they're only that long. And I have battled with people. I had some woman who said that she ought to have a prong collar on that dog so she could hang on to it. And this is, if she had a problem, the dog would still drag her around the block. I mean, the woman missed the whole. These people we have slowly wiped out, and I have enough supporters on there who know us and know how we do things. And they argue with each other.
Yeah.
And if they get too obnoxious and really out of control, then explore.org shuts them off. Because if they get really abusive, then they can.
I watch it sometimes on the Facebook and social media. There was a while back that people were attacking just a few people, but it really, when you start reading these posts that they put out, they just start with posts, and they don't understand that these dogs are we were just talking earlier, we've got a couple dogs from Europe, where the Germany dogs, are they German or Russian?
No, there's Austrian and there's Belgian right now.
Because we're looking for big, solid dogs. And a lot of the American Great Danes, Oliver, get up. A lot of the American Great Danes, boy. See, he doesn't need a collar. They're not this size. If you look at how big and wide he is, these Bentleys. Really? Bentley?
He could be Bentley. But I try to have the dog, the leg half the height. Because then you have a football player shape instead of a basketball player. You would not put a basketball player on a football field. He'd get killed. And it's the same ratio. So that the dogs I'm trying to breed would never do in a show ring. As a matter of fact, the AKC people have called my dogs a piece of junk.
But anyways, so the dogs that she has, normally they're specifically bred, because the other thing they do is that individual attention that they get with the 24-hour support and the spoon feeding. And so we've gotten some puppies from overseas that are the big, strong, the European Great Dane style. And they don't really work out as service dogs because they don't have that immediate. These dogs are so bonded with humans that they make, like, he just wants to be, he'd prefer to be sitting on my lap at all times.
If she got up left, he'd go with her. I mean,
Yeah, I don't have to put a leash on him because I know where he is. He's underneath my feet. I'm tripping over him all day. And you don't get that kind of bond if you don't breed them and start working with them from a very young age. And then also when the applicants come in, they spend a couple weeks at the farm working with the dogs to be able to be partnered with them. So there are people out in the social media that will attack the Service Dog Project because they breed dogs. And I'm a horse rescuer, I understand overbreeding. But these dogs are not, you know, they're
We know where all our dogs are. They're all checked,
Yes.
for one thing. They all come back to us if there's any problem. We have had people have medical problems, not very many, but, you know, my fellow out in Western Massachusetts had a couple strokes in a week, and he really couldn't take care of his dog, and he had to give it up. It came back to us.
Yeah.
And we gave it to somebody else at that point, or they'll either be on the farm and we inherit one more dog, or we can reassign them.
Yeah, they're working dogs.
They're working dogs,
They're not
and they
pets.
like to work.
But we've gotten a lot of people that have attacked, not a lot, just a couple of them. And it feels like when they start firing at you,
They do, it's very upsetting.
And so it's really, it's a strategy on how to respond to them, because the more attention, she would like to sit down and everybody gets all worked up and they start slamming, and I'll be like waking up in the morning and Megan normally calls me and she's like, you gotta check out what's, you gotta check out what's happening on Facebook. And basically what I try to do is say, stop arguing with these people. You can't block them, because a lot of times, he's gonna sit down with me. A lot of times you can't block them because they need their voice to be heard. And what you'll see is the supporters of it, there's so many supporters, they'll start arguing with them. And it doesn't take long for like when you see negative stuff going on social media, people that do that tend to get crazy so quickly that they expose themselves as, you know, the internet crazy people.
But they say, I'm going to stop supporting you. And then, oh my God, I'm going to fall.
Yes. And then you're like, okay, well,
I have a heart attack, you know?
Yeah, well, with 200,000 people that are following, I'm like, one less, oh my God. But if you start engaging with them, it just brings visibility to it, and you can't let the few naysayers that you have
I always try, though. I must admit, I always try.
It really, I get it too in the equine rescue, is people attack for no apparent reason, but they just attack you, and you can't let it lose your focus. So that's one of the valuable lessons that, you know, before I started, helping with the social media, before even social media was a thing, and I was just researching it, because I've been, when Facebook came out in 2004, I was researching it. And I started, when the internet bully became something that was not even defined yet, I started reading all the journal articles on internet bullying, and I'm like, and then I see that in real life with the Service Dog Project, the Equine Rescue Network, it's something that happens. And it's a psychological phenomenon, but the more visibility, you just have to let it go. So there's lots of examples of that.
It's hard.
Yeah.
There's always something ridiculous.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So the Bella and George video, so I had no idea that was you. It was about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I want to say, and I may be off time-wise because time sort of blends together. But it was one of those, it came up on my feed, have you seen this, isn't this really cute? And people were sharing, because I like animals, and so I guess that somehow. And I think when I looked at it the other day, because I posted sort of this event again on Facebook, it said something like there were 2 million views on that video.
Oh, 67 million.
Oh, okay, all right. I remember looking at the numbers, thinking that's just some ridiculous number. And I thought maybe it would have been reposted or something. The one I saw was different, but
oh no, they've got 2 million likes on it.
Oh, okay, maybe it was likes I was looking at. And I remember thinking, so how do you get 67 million views?
You're damn cute.
Okay, yeah.
Nobody's gonna view me 67 million.
Yeah, no, that's where it really, when it comes down to it, is you have to have a good mission, and you have to create a video that is engaging and interesting to you. You can't create a video, this is where, in the classroom, I'm constantly telling people, you can't create a video with the intention of it going viral. You have to create good content that is so good that it goes viral on its own. And then when it does go viral, that's when you have to capture. The problem with that video is 67 million people saw it, but how do you monetize it? Right.
And I tried, I started this dollar up business. I said, everybody who watches that video, send me $1. And we have a lot of dollars. They come in a mail call, we open them up, we put them in our big jug.
But that's you see all those videos, and that's like hitting it out of the park. You get the exposure, but did you give $1? it's like you get the exposure, you're like, oh, cute little girl, but at the end,
I don't think it asked me, do you have a dog?
right, that's the problem, there's no call to
See, I
action.
couldn't attach anything to ABC News, they just didn't like
Yeah,
that.
that's the problem with that. But you know what I did is I followed it up with a blog post that I attached on that page, and everywhere that video went, my blog post, I was putting it in, and on my blog post was a call to action of donate here and go to this website. So you really have to figure out when you have something going viral, how you get from going viral, because there's a couple different platforms. There's a social media platform where everybody's just interested in, oh my god, that's so cute, oh, to getting to a website, which is a whole other platform. If you can get people over to your website, you can get them as a donor. But getting them from here to there is, almost an impossible task without a really good story.
Or even on the social media, like when I watched the video, there's 68 million people. Wouldn't we have loved to have 68 million new likes on our Service Dog Project
Yeah.
Facebook page?
Yeah, but that video, that ABC News didn't have that call to action. So that's really the challenge. But we did have a blog post I wrote that did have 5,500 shares, which if you take the 5,500 shares and you multiply them by the average in people's social network. So if somebody would read my blog post on Facebook, on the average they have a network of 338 people. So you take 5,500, multiply them by 330. And if they
Still didn't get $1 each.
I know. But if they read all the way down to the bottom of the blog post and then they shared it, they're hooked. And on the bottom, there's a donate now button, there's a link to the website, and there's a share button. So they would share it in their network. And that's when you get, if you get someone who's going to give you that amount of time, because the average, 5 years ago, guess what the average attention span was for humanity? 12 seconds.
Yeah.
5 years ago. Do you know what it is today?
About 3.
8 seconds.
Oh, 8.
And I had that many people, at least 5,500 people that got all the way down to the bottom of my blog post and shared it. So, and how long was that video for? That was a 1 minute long video?
Yeah.
So really, it's a strategy that you got to figure out.
I got one.
Yeah.
I have homework we could do.
What?
That one, the TED lectures,
Yeah.
there's one guy that has a TED lecture on creativity.
Ken Robinson. Yeah.
That's a must look.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Ken
And
Robinson.
he's dead right. The one thing that we don't have in the whole world, as far as I can see, is enough people with the creativity to pull up some of these crazy cool things. Everybody gets so stuck in the way they're going that you got a whole bunch of people that are really all ready to be led astray by a bunch of dogs. But you've got to have the creativity of the case to the fire department, or the.
And that's what you foster that creative environment.
Out of the box.
Culture of the Service Dog Project is out of the box thinking.
Yeah.
And, the cake thing is a good example.
Yeah, it is.
The other thing that a lot of nonprofits forget to do is you ask people for money all the time. Like, I can't bring any of my friends over to the Service Dog Project without her saying,
Buy a chicken breast.
buy a chicken breast. And anybody that walks in there, she asks everybody. And that she's constantly on and looking for more donations.
Well, the other thing is, too, if people have been buying chicken bricks for a while, they can come visit us. We have a guest house. They can stay there for nothing. They gotta pick up shit. They're up there. So everybody in our place, you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry. If I'm up at 7, you're up at 7. It's not a spa.
That's why I live someplace else.
But no,
I left at an early age.
If you want to be part of this, you're going to be part of it. You're going to be up with the cardboards at 6 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock, actually. But people come from across the country. And they come up the driveway in tears. Oh my God, I'm here. I finally made it to Crazy Acres. And it's unbelievable. And then there's the Dog Fest.
Yeah, once a year they have dogs.
Once a year, all these people decided they were all coming to visit. And so the first year there were, 80 people? And the number of people that had never met, that were best friends, it was unbelievable.
social capital of connecting.
They burst into tears. Oh, I finally meet you. This is wonderful.
You guys have probably had somebody who you've met online. I have people on my Facebook that I've never met before, but I have a relationship with them. And I know their jokes, and I share stuff with them, and that's what the Service Dog Project is.
Yeah. We're on to this will be year 4?
So one of the things that is interesting too is you know, a lot of nonprofits, they focus on like sending out, I give, when you get on that list of a high donor and you send $100 here to this one and you get a card in the mail that says thank you. And there's somebody out there that's writing a lot of thank you, a lot of them are handwritten thank you letters. I don't see that at the Service Dog Project.
But getting a poker chip.
And it's an accepted culture that you're going to see where their money's going. You can watch the cameras, but that focus is so strong in other nonprofits is thanking every donor, and you know that's a great thing. But here the culture is we're just moving forward, and you're part of this engine.
I don't want to waste money on postage. That really annoys me because we have a gorgeous calendars. This is 4 years now on calendars. We have a great photographer from Boston here, William Huber, and he puts out a beautiful calendar. And it costs us $10,000 to print it. And then it costs us almost another $10,000 to mail the damn thing. It's awful. So we certainly do try and give it to everybody who goes up the driveway, but I just can't bring myself to put up a brochure and mail it. I just can't do that. It's just against my, want to see what we're about, go look at the email. It's cheaper. Send me an email.
What it is, it's their name on a whiteboard.
Their name on a whiteboard.
Right, yeah.
And everyone like, oh, here's my name, and then they watch the mail call later on in case they missed it.
They let you read their letter.
Oh yeah, people send me letter. I read the whole letter.
There's the surprise honorary members of the Chautauqua Society, that little campaign we did where all the volunteers wrote little notes on their card, which are now carried in wallets.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That many people do. It was when you made monkey fists for all the dog fests. It was those little side things. It's like you said, it's not the
It's the personal touch, but one of the things that right now there's nonprofits and social businesses. The social industry is 11% of the workforce is all nonprofits. 10 years ago, there used to be 500,000 nonprofits in America. There is 1.5 million now. There is so much competition, and there's you read all the books that are out there on how to run a nonprofit, and there's not it can't be a cookie cutter approach. It really needs to have that personal attention.
The creativity,
and you're doing it on such a massive scale that you could do it if you are going after the high donors. Still, you could do it on that same very personalized. But I
don't think that'd be successful. The high donors, I think deep pockets of short arms,
Yeah.
There's so many more people that can send me $1 that I really think that the $10 is wonderful.
Yeah.
There are a couple in there that may, at the end of the month, they'll spend $500 and buy us out, which is wonderful. We have people like that on there, and I certainly do appreciate getting us sold out. But the money we've had from millionaires doesn't compare. And I know a lot of them. So there. It's just, you get more from $1, people. There are more good people. I don't want to sound like that guy who's running for president, but, I don't think we get $27. I don't think our average is $27 at all. I'm probably about $6.
Yeah, and that's good because everybody forgets about those $6 donors. If you can get them. So just wrapping up, I'm sure that people have questions. Do they have questions online for Carlene? Do you guys have any?
Go ahead.
I can ask her. All right. So I was wondering. I'm thinking. So you've done some really creative. So the chicken thing. We were just kind of looking at each other because I did something like that on vacation. I saw these really great creative ideas. I was just thinking obviously, Janine, your full-time job is here, working with digital marketing students. Have you thought at all about service learning? Any kind of project where you could use the students? I know you have a contest in one of your classes, right? Yeah. Where they build, is it a website? Or they
We've done that before. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm having my capstone students work for nonprofits.
Okay, I was wondering if you did anything like that with
They're working
this.
for Suiting Warriors. She's redesigning their website. Kind of a work in process, but I'm hoping to, as we move forward into that nonprofit space for the New England College of Business, to get students more and more involved in doing internships for and community service for nonprofits in and around the Boston area. It doesn't have to be in and around the Boston area because
Right.
a lot of our students are all over the United States. But really getting that engagement is critical, I think, for both the nonprofit and for the students. The interesting thing is most of the high schools now have a requirement for,
Right.
you can talk about,
Yeah.
like, all day long, they show up at my mother's house to do their community service requirement.
The high school kids, the honor student, the honor society apparently has another 20 hours or something of that sort. And then you have the people who've been drunk driving. They have 40 hours or whatever, and I give them good jobs. They're out in the mud. They don't get the choice job.
Yeah, so
They're out there.
tapping into that community service because the next generation they're so into doing good things for the world. Unlike my generation, is not so much, but the next generation is all over that. So yes, it's definitely something that I want to bring more students in. It's hard to coordinate.
I would think there's things they could do virtually. I mean, you talked about some of the cool games and contests you have. You know, having them come up with ideas for you. They're young folks that we have a lot of. I mean, the median age is like 35, so I consider that still young. So 35 and under, those folks have really great ideas, and I think they are very creative. They've been very much entertained their whole lives, and so they have all kinds of neat ideas that they might be willing to share. And I know you named it the chicken. I don't know, you name it after somebody. I can imagine that our students would really enjoy that.
Yeah, well, many of the high school students who, after they've done their 20 hours, keep coming back.
Yeah,
And
well, that's
actually
the other thing, right?
High school students have done
That's so cool.
many fundraisers after school.
Yeah.
Oh, now here's another one. Oh, God. I decided that this chicken shit thing that we do could be put out and marketed on a disc. And it can. Because I know who the winner's going to be at the end of it. But we made up a disc of this is a fundraiser for the school, 100% of this stuff goes to your school, blah, blah, blah. And you can use this in a silent auction environment. You make up tickets, you put them in a jar, and at the end of this half-hour video thing, we have the winner. And you give them this certificate that says they're a member of the Shatterpod Society. It doesn't cost you 3 cents. I'm not going to give them $500, but this is the schools. The number of schools where people will spend $1 on that. You're going to get a couple $100 just just need a little bit of paper and things. And so we have pictures of the chicken and the shit and the whole thing. And
So
in the meantime, we
raise money for you. It's like getting GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We run videos of the dogs in training to get people's attention over there. The puppies running around, and it does draw attention. So they get over there, and then then there's this poster that says, we're trying to support the school by $1. And I sent 2 of them out to see what happens next. But that can be marketed. We can charge $20 for sending out this kit deal, and all you have to do is change the last thing where they hold up the winning number, and you can,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The production costs would be very small.
I have one more. So what's
Okay.
the difference in the different colors of the, they have different color vests on? Why, is there a reason one's purple and one's
I
red?
thought you were talking about us.
Oh, not you all, no.
Because,
No purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
With our shirts, yes.
We have purple shirts.
Because the purple shirt, on our property, if you see a person with a purple shirt, they're supposed to be able to answer most of your questions. They're the people who've been there the longest and things. So my volunteers are all color-coded.
I still do.
But I will tell you that when we were getting low on vests, one day during mail call, we could use some vests. Next day.
We have them in every color.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some then Purina. Finally, we get Purina donating the dog food. I've been at it, 10 years trying to get Purina. And they came up with dog food. And so we took their dog food bags and decided we'd see what we could make out of these bags. And I tell you, we had some beautiful
They were
things.
sledding with the bags.
Well, sledding, that started it. We
Yeah.
found out that you could slide down a snowy hill. But one woman made a quilt out of the different colors of the dog food bags. Gorgeous. And I sent it to Purina. They've got it hanging on the wall now.
See, but that's The problem with going to Purina is there's so many dog shelters that are going to Purina. To get Purina's attention, it took sledding on, and sledding and posting on social media and sharing it with Purina to get their attention and be like, oh, well, maybe if we partner with them, and then next thing you know, we've got the quilt, we've got a van.
Umbrellas.
Yeah, they're making umbrellas.
Fashion show.
Yeah. Oh, and that Dog Fest, they had a fashion show on Purina wear. And that kind of exposure is what every business is looking for, because that's just organic, and it has the potential to go viral, and you can't make that shit up. So.
Even explore.
The jar.
How many times? Yeah.
And there are businesses that do team building days.
Yeah.
What do they do?
Team building days, they do a project.
Oh, yeah.
And it goes onto their internet site, their Facebook pages and such.
GE comes out,
Spend
puts
a
up
day
fences.
at Service Dog Project.
Yep. So all of that integration, it just takes time and energy.
And the CPs who come and volunteer for a weekend or a week, they're posting everywhere about what they did. One was to show that a lot more goes on than what the cameras show.
Yeah.
And it just, again, gets people more involved, and, oh, that's over there, and that you have to clean that, and this is where this is, and just...
And if you can't send us money, you can always get 3 more people to watch us.
Yeah.
And I say that constantly online.
You gotta ask.
I send out, my daily doggy, I have a list of about 2,000 people who get it in their email box or whatever. It goes out with constant contact, and about of that, over 1,000 read it that way. And then I post it on the regular web, and there's another 500 or so that read it there. So you've got 1,500 people that are reading it constantly, and sometimes it's garbage, and but they read it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very good, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Where'd you take it? Somebody say, oh, you're having a bad day, huh? Get the comment back again.
I'll tell you, the night that the Bella and George video was on ABC News, I think everyone pretty much connected to Service Dog Project. Their phones went wild that night. Is that one of your dogs? Is that one of your dogs? Is that one of your dogs?
That's the inclusion piece. That's so many nonprofits work so hard and miss the mark trying to do that, when all it really takes is a little fun creativity and creating a culture of innovation and a little craziness.
This would not work, I don't think, if we had brown dogs. Golden retrievers and yellow labs. We've got wild-looking dogs, and you can tell them all apart. You get a litter of them. They no two look alike.
That's right. But they all act alike.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah.
This is what they're best at, but this makes them good service dogs.
Oh, we had a pretty tough day today to do this. Various places all day.
You may have mentioned it, but how much do they weigh?
Oliver weighs, what do you think? 160. 160.
My son daughter-
160, as in a 6. Holy moly.
My son dog is 165. The one that I got on the elevator with. I don't know if everybody knows the elevator. I got on an MBTA elevator and got electrocuted.
With her service dog. Oh, you didn't know
Me
that?
and the dog.
Now the dog went on, and I rode the same MBTA with him. The dog went on to the service elevator to go down to the platform.
Handicap.
And for some reason, it was
live.
It was live. It had electric shock, and he flipped in the air and went into seizures. And she reached in to pull him out, and she went to the hospital, and he went to the vet, and he's not here tonight because he is not the same.
He's upset.
He is not the same. So he had some pulmonary issues because of it, and but he's one of my favorite dogs. Other than
He's the father of George. He's got plenty of puppies, baby puppies at home. He's got over 40 working service dogs.
Is he at the farm?
Yeah.
So, and he's much bigger than
You can't
his
trust
dog.
him in public though, because he gets fixed on somebody, and he's just, do that.
Yeah. When I went to visit him that night after that incident, like when he sees me, like I'm his person, he loves me. He gets so excited, like he jumps on me. and could knock me over. And I went there that night. And it's funny, like, my mother's, you know, just got back from the hospital. She's in her room, and I go running. I'm like, "Where's Bentley? Is he okay?" And Bentley wouldn't even get off the couch. And,
Poor thing.
so but he's much more active now.
Right, can watch some.
Oliver likes to watch TV.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other questions?
All right.
None on mine.
Okay, good.
I felt that way over here,
Did
actually.
you? Oh, that's funny.
Good, all right. Well, thank you everyone for coming, and thanks for making the trip to Boston.
Thanks for
Now we have
bringing
to
your
put your
beautiful-
gifts.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back.
Oh, okay, well, why don't you hand them out?
Let's
Here's three.
Got to get up.
Thank you.
Is it?
There you go.